Hey there everyone, Anne here, and today we're diving into how you can work in Canada temporarily. It can seem like a mountain of paperwork and confusing regulations, but don't worry, I'm here to break it all down for you. Whether you're dreaming of those stunning Rocky Mountain views, the vibrant city life of Toronto or Vancouver, or the charming East Coast, working in Canada can be an incredible experience. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's get started. Alright, first things first, do you even need a work permit? That's right, not everyone does. Canada has different rules depending on your job, your nationality, and the type of work you'll be doing. For example, if you're a citizen of a country with a special agreement with Canada, like the International Experience Canada program, you might be able to work here without a traditional permit. Or, if your job falls under a specific exemption, like being a visiting professor or a religious worker, you might be in the clear. But don't just assume. It's always best to double-check the official Government of Canada website or contact your nearest Canadian embassy or consulate to be absolutely sure. Do your research, make sure you have the right paperwork, and then you can start planning the fun stuff, like where to get your first poutine. Speaking of fun stuff, let's move on to the next chapter where we'll dive into the actual work permit application process. Okay, so you've determined that you do, in fact, need a work permit. No problem. For most foreign nationals, applying for a work permit follows a pretty standard process. But there are a few exceptions and things to keep in mind. Are you a caregiver, an agricultural worker, or applying under a special program like the Global Skills Strategy or Francophone Mobility? These programs often have slightly different requirements and application processes, so make sure you're looking at the right information for your specific situation. Once you've found the right application package, it's time to gather your documents. And trust me, you'll need a few. We're talking passport photos, proof of your job offer, educational credentials, maybe even police certificates. The exact documents will vary depending on your individual case, so again, triple check that you have everything you need before you hit submit. Now here's a little pro tip. Before you even start filling out the application, check the current processing times on the Government of Canada website. Knowing how long it might take can save you a lot of stress and anxiety down the line. Alright, ready for the next step? Let's talk about what happens if you're bringing your family along for the adventure. Okay, so you're all set to work in Canada, but what about your loved ones? Don't worry, Canada's got you covered. If you have a spouse or kids and you're coming to work in Canada, they may be eligible for a work or study permit too. That's right, your partner can potentially work while you're here, and your kids can get a world-class education. Just be sure to include their information in your application package and make sure they meet all the eligibility requirements. Now, let's talk about some special programs that might apply to you. Are you a young adventurer aged 18 to 35? Then listen up. Canada has this amazing program called International Experience Canada, or IEC for short. IEC allows you to travel and work in Canada through working holidays, young professional opportunities, and international co-op internships. And if you're a student or a recent grad, you might qualify for a post-graduation work permit, PGWP. This permit allows you to stay and work in Canada for up to 3 years after you graduate, giving you a chance to gain Canadian work experience and kickstart your career. But the journey doesn't stop once you get your work permit. Let's talk about what happens after you arrive in Canada. Congratulations, you made it to Canada, you've got your work permit, and you're ready to embrace your new life. But hold on just a second, the journey isn't quite over yet. Remember that work permit we talked about? Yeah, that has an expiry date and you'll need to renew it before it expires if you want to keep working in Canada. Don't worry, renewing is usually a bit easier than the initial application, but it's still important to stay on top of it. And here's something else to consider. What if you want to switch jobs or employers while you're in Canada? Depending on your specific work permit conditions, you might need to apply for a new permit altogether. Now let's talk about a bit of a worst-case scenario. What happens if, for whatever reason, your work permit expires before you have a chance to renew it? Don't panic. You might be able to restore your status within 90 days of your permit expiring. But restoring your status is not guaranteed, and it's always best to avoid letting your permit expire in the first place. So set reminders, mark it on your calendar, do whatever you need to do to stay on top of those deadlines. Okay, let's talk about something a little more fun. Traveling. You're in Canada, maybe you want to explore a bit more of North America, visit family back home, or just take a well-deserved vacation. The good news is you can totally travel while working in Canada. But there are a few things to keep in mind. First and foremost, make sure your passport is valid for the entire duration of your stay in Canada and for any trips you plan on taking. Next, before you book that flight, check if you need a visitor, visa, or an electronic travel authorization (ETA) to return to Canada after your trip. These are separate from your work permit and you won't be allowed back into the country without them. So do your research, gather your documents, and make sure you have everything you need for a smooth and stress-free trip. Alright, now that we've covered the ins and outs of travel, let's move on to a very important topic: your rights as a foreign worker in Canada. Okay everyone, it's time to get serious for a moment. This chapter is super important, so listen up. As a foreign worker in Canada, you have rights. That's right, you're protected by Canadian law just like any other worker in the country. You have the right to a safe and healthy work environment, the right to be free from discrimination and harassment, and the right to be paid fairly for your work. No one, and I mean no one, has the right to exploit you or treat you unfairly. Unfortunately, there are some bad apples out there, and some employers might try to take advantage of foreign workers. If you ever experience any form of abuse, exploitation, or mistreatment from your employer, please know that you are not alone, and there are resources available to help you. You can report the abuse to the Canadian authorities, and they will take your claim seriously. There are also organizations that provide support and assistance to foreign workers who have experienced abuse, so don't be afraid to reach out for help. Remember, you deserve to be treated with respect and dignity, and you have the right to a safe and fair work environment. Okay, now that we've covered that, let's switch gears and talk about the employers out there who are looking to hire foreign workers. Hey there, employers, looking to fill some labor shortages? Hiring foreign workers can be a fantastic way to bring in skilled and talented individuals to your company. Canada recognizes the value that foreign workers bring to the table, and there are programs in place to help you navigate the process of hiring from abroad. But there are some rules and regulations you need to be aware of. First off, you'll need to demonstrate that you were unable to fill the position with a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. This means you'll need to have gone through a recruitment process and shown that you made every effort to hire locally. Once you've done that, you'll need to apply for a Labor Market Impact Assessment, or LMIA. This basically proves to the government that hiring a foreign worker will have a positive impact on the Canadian economy. And employers, beware. Canada has a list of non-compliant employers who have violated the rules and regulations of the Temporary Foreign Worker Program. These employers are banned from hiring temporary foreign workers, and you definitely don't want to end up on that list. So, do your research, follow the rules, and make sure you're hiring ethically and responsibly. And that's a wrap. Working in Canada is an amazing opportunity, and if you follow the right steps, it can be a smooth and rewarding process. Remember, this video is just a starting point. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more useful content. Got questions? Drop them in the comments and I'll do my best to help. Until next time, take care and happy job hunting in Canada.